episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. Your favorite guests, or not even guests, we are the main course.
That is true.
Timothy.
Don't talk yourself down.
Timothy and myself, Dakota. Tim, you had a nice little surprise visit in London, I see.
I did. Listen, I mean,
Yeah.
the two coolest expats living in London got to meet up, me and Chase Utley. It was a big time. It was a great time. I can happily confirm to you, like, you think like Chase Utley has been like easily, he's my favorite baseball player. Bryce Harper rivals him, but those Chase Utley days were something else.
Yeah.
And like meeting him in person, like he is so much cooler in person than I could ever dreamed of. Like, guy's got such a good personality, so cool, down to earth. I tried to fanboy. I was definitely fanboying hard, but I tried to keep it together. But no, all in all, great guy. It was great to talk to him about the World Series. I mean, honestly, the World Series, the Phillies in the World Series, game one starts tomorrow. I met Chase Utley today. It's been incredible. It's been a roller coaster, and I'm so happy. But he is the man. He is the Silver Fox. Doesn't do him enough justice. He pulls it off so well.
I remember I hadn't seen him in a while, and then when I saw him in when he was on the Dodgers, and I was like, buddy just went from like light brown, blonde hair, whatever he had before, to like just gray. Like he was silver. I was like,
but he
what
owns
happened?
it. He owns it. It's not even salt and pepper. Like there is no pepper in there. It's just salt and it. But it looks so good. Like he doesn't look old.
I mean,
like
he's always been a good looking dude. Like he can pull off anything.
Oh no, I've never seen someone pull off gray hair so well. Like I'm talking about, like I've seen the Just for Men commercials. People that are marketing gray hair. No one pulls it off like Chase Utley. The guy looks like he could rope out 30 home runs if he wanted to. He was in shape. Dude was awesome. Good character. They were shooting some promos for MLB TV while I was there, and he's definitely got a little stage presence, camera presence to him. But really, really cool guy. Really happy I got to meet him. I was it made my year. So I Phillies in the World Series, Eagles are undefeated. I met Chase Utley. I gotta be honest, I'm expecting something tragic to happen because I'm just living on cloud nine, and it's been incredible.
Yeah. It's I saw that and I was like, is this did you send me a memory picture, or is Chase Utley just chilling in London, like super random?
I mean, we were in the middle. Well, he's the UK ambassador for the MLB now.
That's pretty cool. So
I'm not gonna lie, like country wise, free agency last year for England was a big year. I think they brought in Ronaldo, they brought in me, and they brought in Chase Utley. Like
the golden trifecta.
Honestly, how does that get better? I've never seen a better immigrating class in my entire life. Like we're talking like I don't know when Columbus and the Mayflower pulled up, like this has been unreal. No, it was really cool. Very cool guy. He's very down to earth. Talk to him just to get his feel on how he likes England. He's loving it. He's really, really awesome. And I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow too. So we had double duty. This was I met up with him today and like we did our thing. And this was like, all right, I'm gonna be a fanboy, get my picture in, get this out of the way, because then we got a big Q&A and party and a whole meeting and everything tomorrow. So I can't be too fanboy tomorrow. But I had my moment today and I'm very happy. I didn't want to mention to him, was like, because I had the Chase Utley retro blue jersey for a while when I was growing up. It was my favorite thing. I had it we're talking youth large days. And I still wore that thing up until I think I was like 21. I would rock that youth large retro blue Chase Utley shirt every day to the beach up until like turning like in my 20s. It was great.
Yeah, if you were a Phillies fan growing up, you either had a Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, or Jimmy Rollins t-shirt or jersey. So
oh yeah, there was. I mean, those three.
Occasional Pat Burrell, for the ladies, because he was a ladies man.
Oh, I mean, that was
Jim
your
Thome.
dynasty right there. Yeah, them three and the Cole Hamels. That was up until now the best Phillies I've ever seen. Now we're talking about a team in the World Series. This is a first. We've been doing this for what, 200 or something episodes, or 150, whatever we're on. We've never done an episode where any of our teams have been in the championship. This is a big moment.
I'd have to look at the stats. I mean, off the top of my head, I feel like this is a better hitting team than the 08 Phillies, or the one that went to the. Because I mean, I'm thinking like, so what? You had Howard, Jason Worth, Pat Burrell,
J-Roll, Utley, obviously.
J-Roll, Utley, Ruiz.
Yeah. Victorino.
Victorino. They had a lot of streaky hitters. They didn't have as much power.
No, but you know what? I was talking to Chase about this today. I was like, this team is not built for 162 games.
You were talking to
I swear to God, we were having this conversation because I was getting his thoughts about the Phillies game. And we were talking about like this team right now is not built for 162 games. They strike out way too much. They
Oh
just
yeah.
hit dingers and strike out. You're not going to win consistently over a long-term period. But on the hindsight of that, when you get in the playoffs and it's short series, if you can just get more home runs and those strikeouts, you're going to go pretty far. Where like I made the comment to Utley and a couple other people. I was like, because like I said, I was fanboying hard. I was like, you're
Mm-hmm.
more likely to see an asteroid strike than you are a Chase Utley strikeout. And it was so true. That guy was just money. J Roll was pretty consistent. Howard was your dinger, but they just were consistent good hitters. Where this bunch, they just hit dingers. That's what they live off. They eat
Yeah.
dingers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh no. Yeah. The old. I mean, like runs wise, the old that Phillies team with Ali, that was just a pure talent team. Like
They were so good.
they were so good. And then this, like you said, this is just a power hitting team. Like so many solo home runs and stuff like that. But
But I mean, listen, that's it. Does if it's on, it's really good for the postseason. If it's
yeah.
off, though, like, could you imagine if Schwarber and Hoskins and Harper and Castellanos were all in that slump? I mean, I can't believe we went this far with how horrible Schwarber and Hoskins were to start the season or to start the postseason.
Yeah, I just look at it like for Hoskins, at least he made up for the fact for like he had those two bad errors and then he just
Oh
like
yeah,
cranked out. I love you know what? I've been debating it. I still think the Harper like eighth inning home run can't be topped.
no,
But the one where Hoskins like they walk Schwarber to purposely face Hoskins and he fucking cranks that shit.
yeah.
Throws the bat. That is set right after the Harper one. That's very close for me because I think that was such an
That's
awesome moment. But
oh yeah. Oh no, in this
yeah,
circumstance, because you're right, you're 100% right. For how horrible he was leading up to that bat, that was everything.
that's so there's so much swagger coming off you. You get the guy before you gets walked because they want to face you and you just crank that shit.
Oh yeah,
I'd be
this
on cloud
team
nine.
this team is just living through their emotion. Like you can see the emotion when they play. Like they know, like Hoskins knows, oh, I made an error in that Cardinals game that cost us the game. I've been horrific at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna let it all out in one swing. And that's exactly what it does. And it's been incredible. Going off that, now that we've, gotten all excited and everything, what do we think going into this World Series? I think it's a great matchup because you have easily in the postseason now the best team in baseball with the Astros. They've yet to lose in the postseason, and the
Mm-hmm.
best pitching I think that any team can throw out there versus the hottest hitting team in baseball. It's like the perfect mix of the immovable object and the unstoppable force. Like this team, the Phillies have been just knocking out everyone. They go down 4 runs and they make it up in an inning. But the
Yeah.
Astros, no one. I mean, they've just embarrassed every team they've played.
Yeah, I mean they swept the Yankees like no sweat.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
they've made every
I'm
season series easy.
yeah, I'm. It's hard to like you want to be optimistic because of how much momentum's going and how well, like you said, how many comebacks they've had, how well they've been playing. But I mean, I that Astros team is like it's as well built as of a machine as
Oh
you
yeah,
can
they're
put
deep.
together. Like
They got so many good
they're
arms
like
too.
they're like seventh best pitcher is like our third best pitcher. And
Yeah,
they get on base, they make use of their hits. They're not just like swinging for the fences or leaving men on base. They're a very smart team too. So hell if we see a time where the arguably the best team in baseball 2 years in a row loses to a wild card NL team,
yeah,
take it, take it.
yeah. No, listen, I have no arguments about that at all. I mean, the last time the Astros lost was to the Phillies. I think that's a good sign as well, going in our
Oh yeah,
favor.
we did play them.
Yeah.
Yep, the year
Then
there.
I think I remember listening on WIP. They said the last team to go, I think the last three teams to go perfect through the postseason all ended up losing and not winning the World Series. I think the last one to do it was the 15 or 16 Royals after they won the World Series. So, I mean, listen, the pressure's on. I'm going to name drop him again. Chase mentioned that the layoff is not good for the Phillies. He's worried
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, I agree.
Especially when you're the hot team, when you're not necessarily the better team, but you're the
Yeah.
hot team. I don't think you want to see that. But I mean, the Astros have to deal with it either, and they were hot. So we'll see. I mean, our arms get a rest because we don't have that many good arms. So I think that is a
Two.
big plus. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's a big plus that they have going for them. So I really think they have a chance. I like them. I mean, I'm all for it. So we'll see. I think Phillies in six.
Wow.
I'm listen,
I
man. I'm confident. I was the guy that was like, they're not making the playoffs. They're not beating the Cardinals. They're not beating the Braves. And now I'm like, fuck it. We're winning the World Series.
I I don't know.
Come on, hop on the bandwagon, me. Give me the good times.
Nah, I honestly like. Unfortunately, I think it might be Astros in five. I think the Phillies will
Oof.
get one home win. Um, but I'd love to see. I think if the Phillies win, it goes 6 or 7 for sure.
I
Um,
think the crowd will be rocking at Citizens Bank. Like the home field has definitely been showing up for them. The Astros, like, see, the Astros, their pitching is unbelievable, but
yeah,
their hitting is not really like they haven't done much when it comes to the plate. Like Alvarez has been incredible, but Altuve, Bregman, not much from them. I mean, they're a complete and deep team, but they're kind of one dimensional on this run. They haven't been, the Phillies have been out there winning games when they score 8 runs, 10 runs, and they've needed every single one of those runs. So we'll see. I mean, this lineup is too hot and too loaded. They're going to be able to take anyone deep,
I'll
even if it's the
say
bad boy Astros.
I'll say as I obviously I want to pick the Philly. I'll say if it's Astros, it's in five. If it's Phillies, it's in six. But I'm not going to pick a winner.
That sounds like the ultimate cop out. I'm really
It is
disappointed
a
in you.
cop out
That's pathetic.
because I think it could go like you said. If the momentum thing doesn't carry, then the Astros in five. But if they can pick up right where they left off, Phillies in six. There we go.
I mean, I think the Astros are the better team, but
Oh, for sure.
I also thought the Braves were the better team.
I mean, when we went to the Super Bowl, the Patriots were the better team, and everyone was still thought the Eagles were going to lose, and
It's very true.
they went toe to toe with Tom Brady in his best Super Bowl game ever, and they still won.
Yeah, I listen. Padres, Braves, they're all the better teams.
So fuck it. I'll say Phillies in six. I'll join you. There
About
you go.
time. My God,
There
jeez,
you
I'm
go.
like twisting your arm here, trying to get somewhere. I'm feeling the momentum. This feels good. I
We'll see. We'll see.
because this team just seems more like the momentum and the energy and the hype just seems even back to the '08 teams. Like we just
Mm-hmm.
knew those teams were awesome. This team, I think, surprised everyone and they're hot as can be.
Fair. 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 Fair.
I'm
Um.
excited. We got a World Series to prepare.
Yeah. That to me is just like bonkers on itself. Like we barely thought this team was gonna they were gonna limp into the playoffs. Then they were going to lose to the Cardinals. And yet here we are knocking off three of the best teams. I mean, the fact that the Padres beat the Dodgers is a round of applause. So
Oh,
then I
the
thought
fact
maybe
that
they'll give us some
yeah,
trouble. And then they were like, nope, we can take care of business.
I'm not gonna lie, this couldn't have worked out better. The Mets falling apart so that we,
Oh, that was the best part.
yeah, that we like didn't that we had an easier road. Then the what was it? The Dodgers falling apart to the Padres. Us, the Brewers falling apart so we can get into the playoffs. Like I'm not gonna lie, there was like other factors that played into us being this good, but at the end of the day, they're hot. They're hitting home runs. They've just been dominant. And I want to ask you this question.
Ask
Would
away.
you, because say, assuming, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but say the Phillies win this World Series. We haven't seen the Phillies in the playoffs in a decade.
Uh,
Is it worth a decade of not making the playoffs and really not being competitive, some dark years in there, if you win a World Series? Would you sacrifice a decade of happiness, joy, and optimism so you can win a World Series?
well, I think the other option is that you are the 2000 to 2007, 2006 Eagles, where they were great, but they never won. They would tease
True.
you, but they never won.
A
Would
lot
you
of
rather
heartbreak.
have that or would you rather have a title?
Well, I mean, I always rather have a title, but is the
Yeah.
decade worth of
I mean,
infertility worth it?
I always enjoy when my teams are good. It makes going to the games better, it makes conversation better, it makes the vibe better.
Makes the city
Um
better. Crime rate goes down. Happiness goes up.
I hope crime's going down.
We might if the Phillies continue this trend, we might see an economic collapse, but it at the same time will be worth it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you I feel like anyone if you were given, a crystal ball and they said Option A, 10 years your team sucks, or option B, you wait 10 years, or option A, 10 years your team sucks, but on the 11th year they win the championship in that sport, or option B, for 10 years they're a very competitive team. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't, but they never win. I think I would take the championship.
Oh yeah, you need the happiness at
So
the end because ultimately there's only one way to happiness, and that's winning it all.
so we'll use that. That was a too much whiz. There we go. That knocks one
Fair
off.
enough. Look at you. I don't know.
Of
All right. Well, the Eagles were on a bye, so take me around the NFL. What happened?
course.
While the Eagles were sitting down and I was losing my mind over the Phillies. Although I got to be honest, the schedule makers who put the Phillies on the NLCS clinching game when the Eagles want to buy, kudos to you because you on top of it.
Or the fact that next week the Eagles play Thursday night against the Houston Texans, and the only off day of the World Series is Thursday. Weird how that worked out.
I'd love to see how the flights are being booked from Philadelphia to
Oh,
Houston. Those things
Houston!
must be.
Houston's about to be infested with Philadelphia fans. It's
Oh,
gonna be a
Houston,
great
we have a
time.
problem. I can tell you that.
You imagine that, like the Eagles. I don't know. I think that would. I think game. I think that would be game 5. Would be the Wednesday. So you imagine Phillies win game 5 in Houston. Well, that would be Houston, right? Or would that be in Philly?
Um, Probably back in Houston. I think they did the first two in Houston, second two in Philly, and then they go to Houston, Philly, Houston. I could be wrong, but I
I
think
can't
that's how the
remember if it's like
7 year
one
series.
one one or if it's like Philly for 3, then Houston for the last 2. But anyways, yeah, Phillies beat Houston, then Eagles Eagles beat Houston, then Friday the Phillies win the World Series against Houston. That would be nuts.
Oh man, if you're in Houston as a Philly fan, Derek, like I don't think you ever sober. You just keep drinking. I
I
mean,
think
I'm living in
Houston
London. I
has
might just be drunk every hour while this is going on.
that Houston like Arizona area has a lot of like Philly fans, like Eagles fans and stuff like that. It's a weird spot.
Hey,
So
either or, man. Houston's going to be the hot spot for some Philly hatred and some
yeah,
Philly dogs. And I got to tell you this: it's a weird feeling, and this throws it back to the Super Bowl, which is where I'm going to get the good vibes. When the Eagles played the Patriots, everyone and their grandmother was rooting for the Eagles. Now that the Phillies are playing the Astros, everyone and their grandmother's rooting for the Phillies. It feels weird. Like I spent most of my life as a Philly fan, people hating Philly fans. You say, "Oh, I root for the Eagles." Like, "Oh, you suck," or you must be a horrible human. And I'm like, "Oh, it's far from it." But it's something about when you get loved and you get accepted. It feels good.
yeah.
It feels good.
All right. Well, I'll take you around the league, and then we do have. I just remembered we do have a transaction to discuss.
Mm.
Um, but let's start off. We had Thursday night. Cardinals beat the Saints 42-34. It was a decent game for Andy
I was
Dalton, but
Listen, that was the best Thursday night game I've seen in a long time.
more than 12 points scored, so that was fun.
Two weird teams. They're literally
Yeah.
those two teams are on the same plane. Like they could beat anyone. They might be competitive, but we really know that they
I
stink.
I had it on in the background and I walked away and I came back like not even 3 minutes later, and the Cardinals were all of a sudden like had 2 touchdowns on the board, and I was like, "The fuck just happened?"
Weird
And
game.
they had back to back pick sixes in 60 seconds. I was like, I've never seen that before.
I don't really understand. Like Dalton stinks. You know what Jameis is. Like,
They both stink.
why not just throw Taysom out there? Let him start. I mean, like even in the spot starts, he
I wonder
does
if it's just they
okay.
don't want to wear him down. Like I got to think that's the reason. I don't.
Wear him down. They don't use him for anything. Like,
I
what
don't
do you
know.
mean wearing him down for when when he's got to go tackle the opposing team when Dalton throws an interception?
I don't
I
know,
just
man.
think for this team, like I don't understand. You've tried every quarterback. They've had, my God, Dalton, Jameis, Trevor Simeon, like name a guy, and they've tried him at quarterback. Why not just go with the guy you have on your roster at this point? I don't get it.
Um. Anyways, we had some Sunday action. Ravens beat the Browns 23-20. We had the I don't understand this team. Panthers beat the Buccaneers 21-3 after trading away their best player. You
Yeah,
would have thought this was the game Brady came back and like had his rebound. No.
I don't understand. I mean, the Panthers, sure, teams do rally when they're fired, when their coach gets fired. I don't know why they just keep rallying. I guess they hate the guy and he's gone. You move on. The Buccaneers, I don't understand. That's a veteran-led team, a championship team. I don't know how you lose that game. That was just ridiculous. A
Well,
division game at that too.
it gets even better for all the haters because we had Washington and Taylor Heineke dethroned Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who also continue to lose inexplicably, 23 to
Yeah.
21.
I tried to tell you 3 weeks ago that the Packers stink. You didn't want to
How
listen to me,
many
but they stink.
how many analysts had Tampa and Green Bay in their NFC championship games? And they are
Well,
now miserable right now.
I mean, we both had Tampa in the Super Bowl, and that's not aging very well. I mean, at
I
least I
mean, there's
haven't been
still
playing
time,
against
but
the
they don't look
Broncos.
they don't look good. I mean, I had the Broncos and the Bucks. They neither might make the playoffs at this rate, so
Tom Brady looks like he's a
he needs to
new
retire.
newly single dad that has to deal with the kids on the weekends now. He's like, fuck, how do I prepare for these games when the kids are running around on the weekend? Like, where did Giselle go? He's the stepdad, not stepdad. He's the divorced dad that orders pizza, watches the movie, falls asleep, and the kids are running around losing their mind.
I feel a little sad for him, but not too sad because he's still Tom Brady.
I'm sorry. Why do you feel sad? What about Tom Brady makes you feel sad?
It doesn't look like Tom.
Who cares? He's a 45-year-old man. He
Yeah,
shouldn't look like he shouldn't be on a football field.
that's true. That's true. Elsewhere, we had the Bengals took care of the Falcons 35-17.
Are
Joe
the Bengals
Burr,
back?
Joe Burr is back. The Bengals are back. So that's a good sight. Cowboys continue to win. Dak came back. They struggled out the gates. I think it was close at half, and then they rolled away, beat the Lions 24-6. Um, the Giants continue to win too. Beat the Jaguars 23-17. Jags looked good in the beginning of the season. Now they've kind of haven't been able to win games lately.
Yeah, I mean that team, they're missing so much talent. I mean, they
yeah.
went and bought a lot of guys. They brought in that linebacker from Atlanta. They brought in Kirk. But like these guys aren't like game changers. They're better, but that roster was depleted. They need another offseason. I like where
Surprised
Doug's going.
surprised they traded away Robinson to the Jets. I thought he was
Oh no, baby! I knew this was. Do you know how good Travis Etienne is? Just wait. Open up
okay.
your eyes. He is going
Okay.
to make some noise. The guy was lethal in college. He was hurt all of the first year. Lawrence loves him. Wait until you see what he does in a Dougie P offense. I saw this. I saw Robinson being phased out and Etienne taking the throne. I mean, good for them. They got a pick because I think Etienne's the guy going forward.
What was the compensation? I don't even know.
It's like a fourth, fifth, something around there. I mean, you're talking
Eagles
about.
should have done that. That's not bad at all.
Well, hey, man, the Eagles might be in talks with Kamara. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean it's we they don't really need like
Listen,
Miles Sanders is a con.
you don't need Alvin Kamara, but if you get Alvin Kamara, you're going to be very
I
good.
mean, we when we traded for what was his name? The guy from the Dolphins.
Ajayi,
Yeah, when we traded for Jay Ajayi, like we needed a running back. We only had Blunt. I forget who else got hurt.
Clement,
Um, yeah, Clement. Oh, Clement was there, but like besides that, it was like meh. Brought him in, and that changed, the offense. They just ran it down everyone's throats. But
now see, Jay Ajayi was a good player. He was a very good player at that point. He's not Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is you
oh
put
no,
him
I
on
know.
any
But I'm
team in
saying
this league.
it fit what they were doing. I'll say if they trade for Kamara somehow, I don't think he's gonna get moved. But if
I
they
don't think so
trade for
either.
Kamara and retain Miles Sanders in the process, that's that's a top. I'd argue that's a top five backfield.
I don't know. If you trade for Kamara, the writing's on the wall. You're not bringing back Sanders.
No, I think because Sanders is in a contract year, I think Gainwell would be involved in a trade for Kamara, but I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, the other point of this, I mean, Kamara is an all-pro talent who would be incredible in every offense he would join. If you weaken the Saints, like if they trade away Kamara, this team is going to be a top five draft pick. Like they're going to stink. Michael Thomas, for whatever reason, is broken his toe and is going to miss the rest of his career. I don't understand that one. That's the weirdest thing with Michael Thomas is like the guy has missed, I want to say 2.5 years, but has never been on the IR. Like this guy's already missed 5 weeks. Like at this point in the league, you can just put guys on the IR for 4 weeks and get a roster spot back. I just don't understand. Do these doctors not know how to diagnose people, or is Michael Thomas just playing with phantom injuries?
I saw a thing and it was like Michael Thomas toe injury out for 5 games. Um, the running back for Washington, what was his name again?
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson gets shot twice out 4 games. Like
Yeah.
what?
Can I ask you something now? Is Michael Thomas now, because we've had this toe injury, it's taken about 4 games. He was hurt and missed the whole season the 1 year, and then somehow had ankle surgery the next offseason, then missed the whole second season for the same injury. Michael Thomas signed that huge contract after that record year. Is Michael Thomas a top five worst contract in NFL history? I mean, the guy's got paid. I want to say he's making like 25 a year. After that record-setting year, he's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know.
not even nothing. He hasn't played.
I'd have to look. There's a lot of bad contracts in history. I don't know. I'd have to look, but um,
Talk about
yeah,
how about
it's
this? I'll rephrase this: re-signing of their own player. Most of the time, you see bad contracts. They go to another team. Like Albert Hainsworth was a terrible signing. I mean, the Jets make them terrible signings every other year. But re-signed by your own team, you rarely see re-signings by your own team blow up in your face this bad. They usually know who you are. They know your work ethic. They know your injury history. This has been so disastrous. I just don't understand how they now we're talking about them trading Alvin Kamara, blowing up their whole team.
yeah.
It's horrific.
What are you gonna do?
Trade Alvin Kamara to the Eagles. That's what you're gonna do.
I guess so. All right. Moving on, we have Titans took care of the Colts 19-10. I don't know if Matt Ryan got hurt or he just got benched, but he is no longer starting this coming up game next week. So
Oh no, they pulled the plug on Matt Ryan's career. He
that's,
is no longer
oh
playing.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically when you're feeling like your career is about to fall off and you're on the verge of retirement, go play for Indy. They'll give you one more paycheck before you leave.
Raiders took care of business, beat the Texans 38-20. Um, they're looking like they're getting back on track a little bit. Josh Jacobs is on a tear too. He's playing
He
really
is.
well.
I gotta be honest, I was high on the Raiders going into the season. They fell on their face coming out, but they're starting to put it together.
There's time we've seen teams start out like 1-3, 0-2, 2-4, and like make up the time and still make
Yeah.
playoffs. So, the Jets continue to win, beat the Broncos 16-9. Brees Hall tore his ACL though, so that's definitely a big blow. But
Yeah.
they got James Robinson, so
Hey, I mean, you still have Michael Carter.
and
That
Michael Carter,
pick,
yeah.
I mean, Brees Hall was nice, but that pick never made sense because Michael Carter was looking good, and then you waste the second round pick
That
for
was
a
just
running back.
yeah, that
But
was just pure talent available.
yeah, I guess, but I don't
There's
know.
like
I
some
like Michael
exceptions to
Carter.
that. Like if like you wouldn't take a quarterback as best talent available if you have a starting quarterback, but I don't know. Chiefs took care of a still injured 49ers team, 44-23. And they just traded for Kadarius Toney, so they're adding some much needed speed to their offense, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Um, Seahawks beat the Chargers 37-23. Chargers are up there with like the Bucks as like strangest teams that I don't understand. I know JC Jackson's out for the year now, but I mean I picked the Seahawks to win, so I like, go me. But I
Is
don't
that the whole point of this monologue? Is just so you can point out that this you picked the Seahawks to win?
no,
Is that really what we're
I
trying to
don't
get to?
understand how the Seahawks are this good, and I don't understand how the Chargers are this bad, is what I'm saying. Seahawks young,
Chargers
their young guys are
inconsistent.
playing well. Like that's just a
They
fact.
are. Hey,
So
I'm going to throw out there. I did pick Kenneth Walker to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now that Penny's down, that looks pretty good right now. Just saying.
that's good. I had Michael Thomas winning comeback player of the year, so that's going well.
Yeah, yeah, that's aged well. That's
Yeah.
age as well as spoiled milk does.
Yeah. Dolphins beat the Steelers 16-10. That was a weird game. But eh,
Hey, Tua's back.
it was back. And then the Bears beat the Patriots 33-14. I really didn't watch this game, but I heard like
You're not the only one. I don't
did
know how the
Mac
Bears versus the Patriots got on Monday Night
so
Football. Like,
did
what
Mac
are we thinking?
did Mac Jones start and then was benched, or did he get hurt, or Zaxby or whatever his
No,
name was started and then got hurt? I don't know what happened.
Mac Jones started. He stunk. The crowd was actually booing him. They
That's
wanted they
amazing.
wanted they wanted Zappy Hour, and Zappy came in
Zappy
and
hour.
didn't do much. I think he, you know what? I did watch that game. Zappy came in. I think they scored on that first drive, and then he stunk the rest of the game. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's not just Mac Jones. This whole team stinks.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that is a wrap on week 7. We are now week 8. I think technically week 9 is the midway point now since we have 18 weeks, but because that's how math
Next
works.
Wednesday. Yeah,
So
eight
yeah,
and a half. Next Wednesday.
sounds good. Um, yeah. So you got your studs and duds this week.
Oh, I do. Are we?
Yeah.
This might be a dumb question to ask, but I'm assuming we're in a good mood because the Phillies are about to play Game One of the World Series tomorrow.
Of course, of course. If you're listening to this, it's probably Friday, so Phillies will be opening up the World Series. So take it away. Let's hear the studs.
Alrighty. So to kick us off, I got a guy who, you know what? I mean, he had a big week. I'm assuming he's listening, so this is going to make him feel even better after a big week. He had a lot of expectations, I think, going into the season, and I mean, honestly, if they can get more stat lines like this going forward, this will be big for their team. So he came up, played big in a fucking ass kicking. But he put up 7 receptions, 124 yards, and a tutty for good measure.
Mm.
So we're going to go with a guy we haven't seen put up stat lines like this in a long time. We're going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster coming in our third
Oh,
stud.
okay.
I think, listen, if they can wake him up and he can be like, obviously Kelsey's the number one, but if he can be like that solid number two, they could be a problem. I mean, they just kind of collect wide receivers at this point. They got MVS, him. They just got Tooney. You know, Mahomes makes the show go. But if he can be a player, they're going to be a problem going forward.
Yeah, they're like one of those like sketchy used car lots, and they just bring in a couple nice cars every once in a while, and then they just
Yeah.
rotate them in and out. But
They're just, they bring them in. Oh, you got it 150,000 miles, bring them in. You might get a good muffler in there. We'll see
yeah,
what happens. Moving on. So we got a guy. I've got to say, I think he's the surprise of the entire season. He has been completely dominant. Um, Contract year, not even contract year. They basically had the chance to bring him in on a 5th year option. And they said, "Go fuck yourself." And he is making them eat those words. A team that we kind of touched on already that's doing a little turnaround in the season, and he is a big, big, big part of it. A disgusting stat line of 20 carries, 143 yards. That's for
mm,
7.2 yards a carry. I got you, Dakota. I know your math is not your strong suit, so I got you.
good.
And then hold your
Okay,
breath,
okay.
because it gets better. Not one, not two, 3 touchdowns from my boy. I'm gonna go with my second stud, Josh Jacobs, this week. Guy
Yep,
who's on a tear.
he is. He's a
Very big week.
beast.
Yeah, very big week for him. Now, going with the theme of kind of guys that are, I would say, bouncing back, guys that have big weeks that kind of, we were waiting for it or had high expectations or, being a little quiet for a while. We're going to go right into my number one stud who's following that same trend, who went off for a nice 34 of 42, 481 yards and 3 tutties in a game that he made him look just as good as he was last year when they went all the way to the Super Bowl. So we're going to go with Joey
Joe Burr.
Burrow. Yeah.
Ice,
Joe Burrow put
ice.
on a game. Yeah, I think he listen. His I had a couple runners up, and they pretty much came from his wide receiver core. I'll give a little mention of Tyler Boyd going for 155 and a tutty, and then Jamar Chase going for 130 and 2 tutties.
Although Chase is now out, what, 6 to 8 weeks, so that's a
Yeah, I think
blow. But
so. But listen, if Joe Burrow plays like this, they're going
still
to
got
need him
Boyd and
6 to 8
Higgins. Yeah,
weeks. Yeah, they're going to need him in 6 to 8 weeks because they're going to be going deep in the playoffs. And I think
go
Joe
deep.
Burrow is my number one stud, and we'll see. They're this whole stud list are teams that are big players that need to step up for potential playoff teams. If Juju can be that next guy with Kelsey, the Chiefs are going to go even further. Joe Burrow runs the show in Cincy, and I mean the Raiders are proven if they rely on Josh Jacobs, they're going to win games. So it's good little stud list. Good week for the guys on the list.
Fair enough. What how the duds looking?
So let's move on to some duds. And I gotta say, the theme of the duds are just some just disgusting things to watch and just hurt your eyes. So let's roll right into my first disgusting performance. And I know, Dakota, you're gonna get on to me and you're gonna tell me, oh, well, his stats weren't bad. He had 9 catches for 96 yards. Meh, 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 meh. I look at numbers. I don't put the effort in watching the games like you do, but I look at numbers. Meh, 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 meh. I'm going to tell you, he did have 96 yards reception, but in a game that was only can be described as just disgusting, the whole team fell apart after he just dropped the most crucial play of that entire game. We're talking about
Oh,
2 minutes into the game, a 75-yard wide open touchdown,
mm.
and it was in his hands, and it wasn't anymore. And
Oh,
he
your
wouldn't be on the
boy,
dud list. Listen, I know,
your
it hurts
boy.
me. It hurts me. It hurts me because I've defended him so
I
many
know.
times and I've argued with you so many times about him. But I gotta be honest with you, once that ball hit the ground, you knew they were going to lose. You just knew that this wasn't going to be the week. And then when you went to go see this offense put up 3 points, I think he even mentioned, one play doesn't lose you a game, but that the whole team was defeated after that.
Yep.
And, get a little personal. They were a part of my, six leg parlay that didn't hit. So I was a little bitter about that. So
Love that.
Mr. Butterfingers, 2 minutes into the game, Mike Evans is my third dud.
That was bad.
I just, what? I was watching that game and he dropped that. And I was like, oh, that's it. There's no way they're winning this game. I didn't expect them to put up 3 points, but I was like, there's absolutely no way they're winning this game. It deflated the whole team. I was like, once he dropped that, they're like, all right, well, let's call it a game. Just terrible. Moving on to another guy that was honestly just disgusting performance. I mean, just every penalty that was called, you just knew it was on him. In a game that I can't believe was put on primetime TV, they put out 2 different quarterbacks out there. They couldn't score any points. They lost to a team that stinks. And they only managed 14 points against the defense that stinks. And you know what? If you had an offensive lineman that wasn't putting up 4 penalties, including a tripping penalty and a chop block, which was 2 personal fouls or whatever it was, you probably wouldn't have to switch your quarterback at halftime. But Trent Brown was just horrific. I know you didn't watch the game. I watched that game, and it was so bad. Every time they threw a penalty, you just knew it was on Trent Brown.
Damn.
It was just to a point. It was just ridiculous. How does one offensive lineman get 4 penalties? It just was horrific. And it wasn't just like a holding or a false start. Like this guy was chop blocking, tripping. He had some false starts, a holding. Like he was just getting worked. And there was no chance. So my second dud, I apologize, is Trent Brown.
Damn.
Moving on to our number one dud. And Dakota, you've done this enough times with me. You know that there's one secret way of getting into the dud list almost every time is lose your job. So we had a guy that lost his job this year who's probably going to end his career. He's probably lost his career at this point. They've already announced he's not coming back. He's hurt, but they basically put the feelers out there like, when he's healthy, he's not coming back. Frank Reich's like, I'm about to lose my job. I can't throw this guy out there anymore. A guy who was actually on the stud list. I think it was last week.
Yeah, so Frank Reich probably is going to get fired.
Yeah, I think so too. I think but you can't fault the guy. He's going to throw the young guy out there and, try to tie his, his anchor to that and be like, oh, I can develop him. But moving on to the guy who's just on the stud list, and this is just a reminder that life comes at you fast, who went 33 of 44, 243, a tutty, and 2 interceptions, but lost that division game to the Titans. And as we know it, lost his starting job. And I have to think that this is probably it for Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan, right before you call it a career, I'm going to put you as number one dud this week. So that's my dud list.
Did we have Matt Ryan in our top 10 quarterback ranking?
No.
I don't think any of us I think we might have had honorable mentions for him.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was a little higher on the Colts. The Colts have completely just
a lot higher on the Colts.
Yeah.
Darius Leonard isn't healthy. You have Matt. They still don't have a fucking quarterback to play. Taylor disappeared.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Your stud offensive line has been Swiss cheese. Jonathan Taylor's forgotten how to run the ball. Frank Reich looks like a bozo, and Matt Ryan is just completely fallen off the cliff.
It looks like a bozo.
Like I said, if you're a quarterback about to retire, go collect one more paycheck from the Colts.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice little list there. A good variety. Moving right along, we got our Too Much Whiz. So, like I said, we did. I let you sneak one in there, so I'll take one of mine off the board, so we keep it at 3. But my first one for you, and I didn't do the math because I guess I'm not as prepared as you. I'll give you a little bit of credit there.
I'm always prepared.
But I got to imagine it's got to be 20 plus years. So my question to you: Too Much Whiz. Will this be possibly the first year in maybe 20 years that we don't have both Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, saying that one of them may miss the playoffs?
You know what? I'm going to say not Too Much Whiz. Brady makes the playoffs. The Buccaneers figure it out. I've been telling you for 3 weeks now that the Packers stink. They've done absolutely nothing for me to think that they don't stink. The only thing they do to make you think they don't stink is they have Aaron Rodgers on the team, but he's not looked good either. The way the Vikings have been playing, the Vikings, I think, win this division. There's some other surprise teams in the NFC, like the Giants, I think, make the playoffs. I eventually think the Rams and the Buccaneers and the Niners, who made a big trade figure it out
Mm-hmm.
and they take a couple places, I don't think the Packers make it. There's nothing about that team that makes me excited or makes me think that they're going to turn this around. It's not like they're close or they're figuring things out. They stink. I mean, they're already the coach versus Aaron Rodgers squab was already happening. The defense looks suspect. They haven't traded for a wide receiver yet. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. All right. It'd be interesting. Yeah, I can't see Tom going out like that and just because I feel like he's got to retire after this, and I just don't see him retiring on a non-playoff season. So, but we'll see. All right, and then my next one ties into something we didn't get a chance to really speak on yet, but the Eagles did make a bit of a splash. They brought in Robert Quinn, defensive end from the Chicago Bears. Now, in his prime, and I think he's still. I mean, he's 32. He's still good. He had 18 sacks last year.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do well in this defense where he's a rotation piece.
Oh yeah.
But in his like prime, he played alongside a guy you might have heard of him, Chris Long.
I have.
So my question to you: does Robert Quinn have a similar effect to when the Eagles brought in Chris Long and helped energize that defense and help push towards deep in the playoffs?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say not too much whiz.
Hmm.
Or you know what? No, I'm gonna say too much whiz,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. Chris Long came in. He wasn't mid-season trade. He was
Hmm.
started day one. From the get-go, that team was a juggernaut, and he was a big part of it. I think Robert Quinn's going to come in and he's going to be fine. I honestly can't think of a better move that Howie made than bringing Robert Quinn. This team has no weaknesses besides maybe your punter and your punt returner.
Yeah,
But like
definitely punt
there's
return.
there's just one position that it doesn't matter how many good pass rushes you have, you can just always use another. And
Hmm.
we saw from the Super Bowl team, like just rotate these guys in and out, keep them healthy. You're talking about a guy who had 18 sacks last year, who was going to be a rotational pass rush specialist. Just bring him
Okay.
in on third down. I mean, this move was just incredible. Howie is getting to the point where this is like I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with Howie. I I spend a good portion of my time ripping him apart and just complaining and just don't understand why he keeps hurting me. And then just does something so nice, like turns out that Jalen Hurts is awesome, or he buys me a car, or he does something crazy, and I come right back to him and madly in love. I don't understand how he made this move happen, but getting Robert Quinn on a team that looks like it's ready to win a Super Bowl is just incredible for a third round pick and a team that still has 6 picks, including 2 in the first rounds.
Yep.
Just incredible move.
Yep.
I'm so giddy. I don't think he has the Chris Long impact because he was there the whole season. It was a big tone setter and big like him and Lane were just like the emotional heartbeat, but he is going to be a player and he's going to be great in this role. And I honestly can't think of a better move they could have made at the deadline than bring in Robert Quinn.
Good. All right. Yeah, I agree with that because I was kind of getting after, do you think he'll be as impactful as Chris Long was? But I think Chris Long's impact was more as a leader than anything else.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
I think he was the one who started the dog mask thing. It was either him
yeah.
or
Him
Lane.
and
I can't
Lane,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He was the heartbeat. Like he was
Yeah.
an emotional guy. I mean, I followed Robert Quinn. You know, he's been a very good player. I've never seen him as this leader. He's been on some bad teams, like the Rams when they drafted him stunk. The
Yeah.
Bears haven't been very good. I forget who he played with in
He
between
played
then.
he went to Miami for a year and I think Dallas for a year and then got a big deal in Chicago, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, skill wise, the guy's a player, but I mean, he's played for mostly mediocre teams. I mean, this Eagles team is the best team he's played for by far in his career.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to flourish.
Rokon Smith like cried at his press conference because he heard that he got traded. So what does that tell you about him as a player?
I think Roquan Smith was crying because he realized that this team is
That
going
he wasn't
nowhere
the
and
one
this is
getting
going to be
traded.
over. Yeah, I think he was like, "Fuck, we're going to win 4 games this year, and I'm stuck here."
Yeah. But all right. Well, that wraps up all of that. So we can get into our power ranking. So not too much changed at the top heavy here. We have Eagles still at number one.
Yep.
Bills and Chiefs still 2 and 3. Vikings at 4. Giants at 5. Ravens move up a little bit to 6. Dallas moves up a spot to 7. The Bengals jump back in our top 10. They're number 8. The Jets won. They move up to number 9. And the Titans are now welcomed into the power rankings. I don't know if they started on our top 10, but This might be their first appearance. So, but congrats to them.
This power rankings is wild. Like you have three like stalwarts. Like I don't think the Chiefs, Bills, or Eagles are going to move out of the top five no matter what happens the rest of the season. But after that, my God, we just mix and match
I'll tell
people.
you
The
it.
Giants and the Jets are somehow in it.
I'll tell you at no point did I think we were going to have the Jets, the Giants, or the Vikings on this list. I thought
Wow,
the
two of
Eagles
them are
would.
in the top five.
I thought the Eagles would float between 8 and 10. I thought Dallas would float between 8 and 10. I thought the Titans might peek in, the Bengals might peek in, Ravens would peek in, Bills and Chiefs would be at the top. But I did not think this is how. Like I didn't think Eagles would be number one for all this time. So,
It's
but
wild.
I'm here
It
for it.
is wild. Hey,
So
listen, it looks like a three-team race at the end. It's just the amazing thing about the Eagles is like when you look at the NFC, like the best teams, like the two top teams in the NFC that we have behind the Eagles are the Vikings who we destroyed, and then the Giants, who are the Giants. Like how am I not how am I not supposed to think that this team is going to the NFC Championship or winning the NFC Championship? I'm like already ready to book my flight back. Like the NFC looks so weak, and the Eagles just look so dominant.
yeah, it's looking a little rough. But all right. So we move on to our game picks. So um we all had a good week. I finally had a nice positive week. I went 10-4.
Oh, there you go.
Trying to catch up to you. You went 9-5, and my friend Alex was our guest pick. He went 9-5 as well. So I think as it stands, you're still in the lead. The guest is ahead of me, and then I'm in last. So love
Wow,
that.
things change quickly.
Used to be the other way around, but I'm
I
letting
don't
you have a
remember those
turn,
days.
So let's start it off. Week 8. We have as we're speaking, Ravens and Buccaneers are playing. So who do you got?
The Buccaneers played so bad it hurt my eyes. I'm going with the Ravens. I mean, a short week. I don't think they're going to be able to fix those problems. So I think the Ravens pull this one out.
Um, I think they need a dub more than the Ravens do, so I'll take the Buccaneers
Fair
just to be
enough.
different. Next game, we have the Broncos and the Jaguars. Oh boy. Um, again,
So
this is
is
a
Russ
London game,
playing?
right? Or Germany or
It
something.
is.
It's
No. It's in London.
in London.
So is Russ playing, or was he just doing the high knees up and down the aisle of the plane just for fun and to keep
I
loose?
I don't know, but I feel like London is kind of like the Jaguars' home field at this point because
Yeah.
they play every year. The Denver has to win, like right? They have to win.
You talk yourself into whatever you like.
I'll take Denver. They have to, or this season's gonna get really, really, really rough.
Listen, I live in London. If I don't root for the home team, the Jaguars, then they're going to kick me out. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
All right. Next we have Dolphins at the Lions.
Oh, the Tua will be fine against the Lions. So let's go Dolphins.
All right. After that, we have
Are you Dolphins
Panthers.
as well, or are you just skipping that
Oh,
one?
yeah, no, Dolphins. I thought it was self-explanatory. I'll take the Dolphins. Next we have Panthers and the Falcons. You know what? The Falcons have been decent. They've been competitive. I'll take Marcus Mariota and the Falcons.
You know what? I'm riding this, fire your coach, get rowdy, win two divisional games. I like PJ Walker. I think that they should have given him a chance over Baker, even though I did say Baker was going to take the Panthers to the playoffs. I'll take the Panthers.
All right, so we're three or four differences so far. That'll make for interesting odds. Next game, Vikings and the Cardinals. Ooh, that's interesting game.
The the Cardinals are like a team that I don't think anyone likes. They're just the team that's easy to hate. And surprisingly, the Vikings are good. So I'm going to take the Vikings.
Well, D Hop coming back looks like he's going to make an immediate impact already. So I'm going to take the Cardinals. Keep this back and forth rolling.
And
Next
you need
game,
it.
Bears and the Cowboys. I would love to pick the Bears, but I think Dallas is going to win.
Yeah, no, the Bears just traded away one of their best players. They're not going to win this game.
Raiders at the Saints.
Oh, you're talking about two teams going in two different directions. I'm going with the Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah, I was about to say Oakland. I'll take Las Vegas. Next game, I mean, I think we all know who's going. Steelers and the Eagles.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Um, After that, we have Patriots and the Jets, and the Jets are competitive. So this is, I I don't know. Belichick always has a game planning for the Jets. This is tough. It's your pick first. So what are you feeling?
See, you say that Belichick always in the game plan, and you are right. Like he's the greatest coach I've ever seen live in with my eyes. But I
With
gotta
my
be honest here,
eyes.
that Bears game, they just looked outcoached, outplayed. I talked about Trent Brown having four penalties, which just were unacceptable. The mixing and matching quarterbacks, and Belichick, he's like, oh, I'm not naming a starter. They're both going to play. And I kind of believe him. He probably is going to start them both because he's just Bill Belichick and he does whatever the fuck he wants. But this is in New York. The Jets are good. This is going to be their Super Bowl to beat the Patriots after all the decades of pain. I'm going to take the Jets.
All right. I will take the Patriots.
You clearly didn't watch Monday Night Football last week.
It's yeah. Hey, any given Sunday, man. So
Yeah.
next game is Titans and Texans. While I think the Texans have shown some bright spots, Titans are definitely on the rise right now. So I'll take the Titans.
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans who just cracked the power rankings. Shut up, Flurry, who told me that Derrick Henry was gonna, fall off a cliff. He went for 30 carries and 120 yards or whatever that he
Yeah,
normally does every single game.
I saw him doing well, and I'm waiting for a game where he gets like 7 or 8 yards per carry, and I'm just gonna find the reel of him saying that he was washed, and just play it over and over and over again to expose him for the fraud he is. So
I mean, in the age of like running backs by committee, running backs have no value. Just put in anyone out there and they'll be fine. Derrick Henry just consistently gets 30 carries a game and goes over 100 yards almost all the time.
I
Yeah,
can't.
it's amazing.
I'm still sick that I lost. I had my fantasy game in the bag, and then somehow the the running back on the Patriots got like a bajillion points, and Flurry beat me by like point 0.4. I was sick.
Yeah, you're gonna hate it more when he beats you on these picks.
You know what it is? It's always when you score a ton of points that you still somehow lose. Like I probably would have outscored half of our league, and I still lost. It's fucking annoying. Anyways,
Fantasy's it's a cruel mistress.
this is an interesting matchup, and it's actually like a decent game. I feel like Giants and Seahawks. How about that?
Weird. What world do we live in? Geno
Right?
Smith versus Daniel Jones.
Is good TV. Who would have thunk?
I can't believe this, but I'm gonna have the Giants going. Was it 6-1?
Mm.
It's it disgusts me. I think they win this game. I don't really think either of the teams are very good, but I think the Giants are a little bit better. Or 7-1. Oh my God, I want to vomit.
So if I ever had to pick another team to root for besides the Eagles when I was growing up, it was the Seahawks because I was a big Sean Alexander fan, huge Cam Chancellor fan. I love the Legion of Boom. So I'm gonna ride with my Seahawks picks here. I'm gonna take Seattle.
Could you imagine if I told you by week 8 the Vikings, Giants, and Eagles are going to combine for 2 losses?
I would have called you a liar.
Yeah, it's such a weird mixture of teams, but
It is.
here we are.
Next game. Oh, poor Carson can't play in this, but Commanders at the Colts.
Oh, if you want to talk about like two veterans that just got upseated for young guys. You know what? I'm gonna say that the move to Sam Ellinger, bringing the young guy, gives the Colts a little kick up. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to play. If Jonathan Taylor doesn't do it this game, then this season seems like a loss for him. So I'm going to go Colts.
This is like a week of a lot of toss-up games, so I'm super fine with just flipping this, and I'll take the Commanders.
This could be a big week for you. Could catch up to me, or I could just completely
Oh,
just
it's
run
either
away with it.
either I'm gonna catch up or you're gonna get a huge lead. So we'll see what happens. Next game, 49ers at the Rams. Oof.
Oof, this one's tough. Your pick, right?
Well, I think you went ahead for the last one. So yeah, I'll 49ers, they got Bosa back, right?
I
They'll
think so.
have
Yeah.
they'll have CMC for a full week of practice. Rams still there's something wrong with the Rams. So this
Yeah.
could be a get right game or they could just keep losing. So I don't know. I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, this one's tough. I mean, you got the Niners who are completely injured and just traded for a superstar. Is he going to be fully ready to go? but the Rams just don't look right, and I haven't seen enough to think that they're going to put it together. The Niners will get a little healthier. I expect some CMC action. I mean, they traded a lot to get him. Cal
Yeah.
Shanahan's, I'm assuming, just walking around a boner all week, just excited to call some plays with him in there. So I'll go Niners.
All right. Sunday night is the Packers and the Bills.
Oh, I've shitted on the Packers too much to ever think I would pick them. The Bills will destroy them. Go ahead, please do it. Do it. They
See
stink.
this theory of mine where I say they have to win. I've been saying it about the Bucks and the Packers for the past 3 weeks.
Have they won?
I feel like, you know what? I just have a feeling Rodgers is sick and tired of this fucking team. He's gonna say, "I'm just gonna do this shit myself." He's gonna have 8 rushing touchdowns, and
8 rushing touchdowns. Okay.
I'm gonna take the Packers in upset of the week over the Bills.
I think Aaron Rodgers is so done with this team and just knows he's going to get shit on that he probably pops a couple mushrooms and just trips balls the whole entire game.
Just rides out that massive contract.
Yeah, you know what? I think popping mushrooms on a primetime game is more likely than him rushing for 8 touchdowns.
He probably would be on mushrooms if he's got 8 touchdowns, but
Yeah, it's true.
and the Monday nighter, Bengals and the Browns. Man, the Browns without a stable quarterback are just a mess. But Nick Chubb is a beast still, so but I like the Bengals in this one.
Listen, when you like make the move for Deshaun Watson and you piss off your entire fan base and all the owners in the NFL by giving a guaranteed contract, if you're Browns, you have to understand your season doesn't start till week 12, I guess, after this suspension. The Bengals are hot. The Bengals are getting better. Even with Chase hurt, they're going to win this game.
All right, and that is our Week 8 game picks. We do have, speak of the devil, Flurry is doing our picks of the week. So his picks are the Bucks, the Jags, the Finns, Panthers, Cards, Cowgirls, Raiders, Steelers in all capitals, the Jets, the Texans, the Seahawks, the Manders. I don't know if he's talking about an ex-girlfriend named Amanda or if he's talking about the Commanders. Time will tell. The Niners, spelled with a 9 instead of Niners. It's different.
Flurry versus spelling this week. Spelling has already won.
He spelled the Bills right. That's a
that's
star.
good. You know,
and then he
one,
said
one syllable.
He said the Bungles. The Bungles from Bunbanati.
Close. I want to take this moment real fast to say that the video we posted of Chase Elliott, I was not in the batting cage. I was not taking swings.
Oh, I know. I never said you were.
I don't know why this is growing that I was in there. I was the fanboy in the background, just filming and so excited. And I want to go out on a limb and say, Utley did take one swing, smashed it. Anyway, he still got it. He still got it. He's still got it. But hey, another week.
All right. So we didn't talk too much about the Steelers matchup, but I think it won't. I don't think it's going to be a blow. I think the Steelers are going to play hard. The PA matchups are usually pretty interesting, but
yeah, I mean, the Steelers stink.
I hope they just ravage whoever's starting a quarterback. Like Robert Quinn comes in, gets 3 sacks. Oh, that would be amazing.
Just fathom what Kenny Pickett has got to deal with now. He's got the best quarterback tandem in the league, and now a pass rushing. Like, how many all pros do we have on this pass rushing team? Like Graham, Cox, Quinn. I'm sorry. Reddick's only been a Pro Bowler, not an all pro. You know, Hargrave's still there. Yeah, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, he's going to look at Jordan Davis and shit a brick and realize, oh my God, this isn't even the one to worry about. This D line is disgustingly deep. I'm so excited. It's weird. Like, go ahead.
I was gonna say we'll end the show on a over 6+ sacks for the Eagles defense.
Over.
Oof. Is it gonna be like the Washington game?
Yeah, they're healthy. They have a week off. I mean, it won't be the Washington game because Carson Wentz is a 1-on-1 who just refuses to throw the ball away.
That's true.
Kenny Pickett will throw the ball away, but these guys coming off a bye, they're going to eat.
Thanksgiving's coming early.
Oh yeah.
All right. As always, go Birds, and I'll catch you later.
Go Phils. See ya.
Oh, and Phils. Go Phils.